All right, everybody, welcome into the high noon edition of Pugs and Company here on the Radio Misfits Network. Getting a little bit of a late start. I apologize. I accidentally unplugged something earlier today, and I didn't realize that it had unplugged, and then it took me a couple of minutes to reboot everything. Hopefully, it's all working. Mics are on. Yeah. All right. Hey, let's bring in E here for the early part of the show. Typically, he'll be joining us a little bit later, but today is different. Hi, E. How are you?
I'm good.
Big weekend for E. Didn't see him once. Didn't see him. He was out gallivanting around, jet setting as he's wont to do.
Yeah, I was out in the colony. I went out to Grandscape. Was at Andretti's Karting and Gaming.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that was fun. We had Dominic's birthday party with some of his friends out there.
That's
and then yesterday watched a bunch of football, and then I did the horses last night.
Oh, you did?
Uh-huh.
You were out on those infernal beasts?
Yeah, I was. We had a Clydesdale. Her name was Kate.
Oh, the dog doesn't like those. The dog sits there in the corner of my back porch here and waits for him to come down. What big street would that be?
Lomo Alto.
They come down that street, and as soon as it comes by, the dog goes, like, doesn't know what to make of it.
I don't know why, but like she is supposed to be a herding dog, so you'd think that she'd be used to like livestock of some sort, but she doesn't like them.
You would think. All right, folks, couple of notes on today's show. It's probably going to be a little bit shorter than usual. I've got some errands I've got to run. I got to go get my booster. And if the first two boosters are the same, look, I want to do a pillow talk tonight, and I might do a pillow talk tonight, but it might not, because if I'm really sick from the booster, which is something that has happened to my delicate system a couple of times, then I'm just going to probably go to bed at like 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. The last time I got the booster, both times, again, the only time now, E, you had the vaccine. You're 2 shots in, so
yeah, I'm 2 shots in. I'm not eligible for the booster though until January.
Okay, so
well, I say eligible. Is there even a time limit now? Have they pulled that away?
Yeah, I think it's still 5 or 6 months or something like that.
Then it'll be January.
But you, after your first 2 shots, I mean, I was here when you got your first 2 shots. Did you feel sick at all? I mean, you seemed to be totally fine.
Nope. I had some arm soreness with the first one.
There you go. Yeah.
Second one, no.
It sucks. The arm soreness. It's inconvenient. It doesn't suck. It's just like every time you try and scratch your head, you're like, oh yeah, that muscle is sore now. They stuck something in there. But you didn't feel any flu symptoms or like sleep for 12 hours or anything like that.
Nope. First one was without a hitch, and second one was even less hitch. Even the arms. Like when I went in for the second one, I didn't even know that they gave me the injection. I was like, did you put the needle in my arm? I couldn't even feel it. Like first one, when it went in, I felt it, and then it felt like whatever they shot in there kind of like was burning for a little bit, like in my arm. But second one, nothing.
It really felt like it was burning. That's not a good feeling.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've ever gotten a
Trump Clorox. What am I getting in here?
Yeah, I don't know. It just there was just a sensation, I guess, that I felt for, a little bit, but I did not feel a dang thing the second time, which made me question, like, did I really get one?
Yeah, they're just, you got the placebo. You're part of the test group that gets the placebo to see if the actual vaccine works.
Believe me, I thought, like, the guy came in, I was like, did we even get a shot? And I was like, yeah, it didn't feel like anything. Like the first one, you felt something. This one, I didn't feel a thing.
I'm getting mine today, just after 2 o'clock, and I need to. Okay, so I'm saying that I need to shower, but truthfully, I need to find my actual card. I took a picture of my card and put it on my phone, right? Like, just in case anybody needs to see my card, I got it there, front and back, very clear pictures. But I don't know if that's going to be accepted. You know what I mean? Like, so I got to find the actual card to bring in with me when I do that. And
well, you don't think they'll give you the booster?
Well, I think I'm just trying to avoid any potential hiccup because I want to get this over with. And the first 2 shots that I got both of them at around 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was fine. Went about my day, did everything. But by like 6 or 7 o'clock, I was just, I'm not going to say fluish, But man, both times I fell asleep at like 8 o'clock at night. And in this, it was still light out. For my second one, I was like, man, it's still light out and I'm already going to bed. So I'm anticipating that. And then I woke up in the morning and I was fine. But I definitely felt, a little something weird in my body after the first two shots. So pillow talk, I'm thinking I'm probably going to do it. But again, just a heads up. Be watching the Facebook and the Twitter page. We'll see. And of course, last night I was battling the allergies. Couldn't talk at all yesterday. Well, I mean, I could talk, but even my voice now is still a little scratchy. But you're probably like, Pugs, your voice always sounds scratchy. Yeah, but I can tell the difference here. And so I used the slightly scratchy and phlegm-riddled voice yesterday to not do a pillow talk show. But really, it was because Bears Packers. Let's be honest. We've been upfront about this from the beginning. Bills play, E don't show up. Bears play, I don't show up. Cowboys play, and nobody shows up. So that's pretty much how the rule has been. Thankfully, though, for my Bears, I won't be doing that anymore. There's one more, I think, Monday night game that we've got on the schedule, and there's like really no reason for that anymore. You, however, your Buffalo Bills, you got to be dialed in. You got to be watching every snap. You got to be watching every second because you guys are in crucial time now. I swear to God, I thought you were going to run the table. And then the first game of the season happened, and I went, well, I guess they're not going to run the table, but at least now they're going to go, they got the loss out of the way, and now they're just going to go undefeated. What's going on with your Buffalo Bills?
Well, I mean, yesterday they didn't show up for the second half or for the first half. In the second half,
is Tom Brady in your team's head the way Aaron Rodgers is in my team's head?
I think Tom Brady honestly is in every team's head. He
beat
just
him last
happens
year.
to be probably a little bit more prominent in ours because we played him twice a season.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. If you watched the game yesterday, like the Bills just did not show up in the first half, and defense was stout and offense seemed to get on track in the second half. And then as things go in Brady world, the refs kind of protect them a little bit. And going into overtime, before overtime, we had a chance to win it in the end zone. And, it was either a hold or a pass interference call. We don't get the call. And then we go to OT, and of course Brady throws it, and it's pass interference. And, anyway.
Yeah. Brady threw a overtime game-winning touchdown to a guy who Matt Nagy cut 5 weeks ago because he couldn't get on the field with the mighty Chicago Bears, but he's good enough to win a game in overtime for the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, and the thing about it was it was third down, and prior to that, we had them pinned back, and if it wasn't pass interference in the end zone on the fourth quarter against them, then how that was pass interference, I don't know. It just he always seems to be the beneficiary of some form of ref favoritism, and I'm done with it.
I'm glad to hear you say that because I am someone who does not like to, especially in baseball. As a catcher, it is futile to argue balls and strikes. An umpire is going to have a moving strike zone. So, I mean, just stop it. Okay. Just take your lumps. Everybody gets the same sort of bullshit when it comes to calling balls and strikes. I do not like to blame referees or umpires.
Me neither.
Right. But this season in the NFL has been atrocious. It has been absolutely, whether it's the favorability that they show certain quarterbacks and the lack of favor they show others, or just the taunting calls that come at the absolute worst times in games. I mean, you're right. That was a bullshit thing that happened to the Buffalo Bills last night. But by the same token, my Bears got screwed on an onside kick where they actually recovered it and would have gone within 7 points with 6 minutes left in the game, and the ball or not the ball, but going back up, recovered the onside kick, and they called it back, or was it the punt return? I don't know what it was. Our special teams played like monsters yesterday. The play was called back because the player ran out of, not the player, a player not even involved in the play stepped out of bounds for 2 steps, and then came back in. He was pushed out of bounds. He came back in. The rule is if you are pushed out of bounds, you must come back in immediately. He did come back in immediately, and they called it, they threw the flag and said that it was the punt return for the touchdown. That's what it was. Where the guy muffed the punt and we recovered it and ran it in, and then they threw the flag because a guy not even involved in the play stepped out of bounds for 2 steps. When on the previous kickoff, they showed a Green Bay Packer player who was involved in the play step out of bounds for 10 yards and then enter back in, and there was no flag. So, yeah, I'm a little pissed at referees, too. I don't know what the hell is happening. I want robots. I think that's the way to do it.
I mean, it's like the thing that seems like it's always extending the drives, these days is this, we have got some form of a personal foul committed on the offense or committed by the defense because somehow they hit the quarterback. I mean, it's amazing how that works. But anyway.
Yeah, no,
here's what it is.
There's a problem with referees this year, and it needs to be addressed. I mean, it's not just your team. It's not just my team. It is all the teams. I guess it's not a problem if it affects all the teams equally. But I don't remember this issue happening against Tom Brady. I don't remember these issues happening against a Patrick Mahomes. There seems to be favorability among the referees in this league right now. And it's driving me. Aaron Rodgers is another one. You breathe on Aaron Rodgers and you get a roughing call.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you got other guys. Josh doesn't get any favorability. Certainly, Justin didn't get any favorability from none of these guys. But Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, these guys, you can't breathe on them. Good news is the Cowboys look legit. I think we can all.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
The other thing that I would say that I have noticed about our Buffalo Bills, because as I said, I'm not going to fight you on this anymore. I like the Buffalo Bills. I've been rooting for them. I want you to get your championship. How heartbreaking those 4 were, I can only imagine. But Jesus, the thing that I've noticed about your Buffalo Bills and their extremely talented defense these past 2 games, dude, they can't stop the run. Why can't they stop the run in the last 2 weeks?
I don't know. Like I don't like. It's like Belichick's best body of work, I think, is the way he's coached his team this year, and he certainly exposed the fact that we can't stop the run by only throwing 3 times and beating us last week on Monday night, and then yesterday Fournette just kind of ran through us in the first half, and I mean, I don't know. My expectations for this year are definitely in the toilet.
Well, your coach is trending, and so we may as well start out talking about him. People are very upset with your coach. Did you have a problem with your coach yet, or are you still okay with
No, I don't have a problem with him. I mean, I think that the play calling yesterday was a little bit suspect a few times, but I guess you're always going to think that when your team loses.
Does your head the McDonough call the plays, or is that Dable?
Well, it's Dable, but still, I mean, the head coach is the captain of the ship,
right?
And even if you've got an offensive coordinator, who you have faith in, if you don't like the call, ultimately you've got to change it. You can't. Isn't
McDonough a defensive coach by nature? Isn't that where? Yeah, okay. So it probably is more Daboll than him. In my Bears situation, the first half play calling was absolutely brilliant, and that was being done by Bill Lazor, our OC. And then in the second half, our head coach took over play calling, and we saw what happened. So,
well, I think he's about out.
Oh man, he needs to be trending today for being fired. You can't drag the 96-year-old lady up to the frozen tundra of Lambeau. That's the owner of the Bears. You can't drag her all the way up there, put her in a box in her wheelchair, and then let her watch the Packers kick her team's ass yet again. It's unbelievable. They showed a crazy stat too in both games yesterday, your game and my game. No quarterback has dominated any single team in the past decade more than Aaron Rodgers, or more than Aaron Rodgers has dominated the Chicago Bears, except for Tom Brady dominating the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
I just thought, oh my God, he and I are in hell. We at least have this. No matter how much we argue about these sports, we can both relate to this phenomenon.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday when I saw that Aaron Rodgers was playing the Bears in the night game, I was like, "This isn't gonna be pretty. I don't even wanna watch this."
Did I call your coach McDonough?
No, it's McDermott.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Who's Sean McDonough? That's somebody too. I don't know why I got that wrong. All right. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate you correcting me on that. It's almost like I knew it was wrong when I said it. All right. Today is the 13th day of December, the year of our Lord 2021, the 347th day of the year. 18 days remain until the end of the year and 12 days till Christmas. The 12 days of Christmas. Sing it, E.
Well, it's interesting that you say "sing it" because I kinda know it, but I don't know it that well.
I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, on the first day of Christmas, my true love. So they were playing that song because I think it's Star 1029 or whatever it is. They play like Christmas music now. It's just all day, all day, all day. And my kid goes, "Dad," he goes, "doesn't that seem to be a really spoiled boyfriend?" And I was like, "Boyfriend? I never saw it that way." But then it's a male that's singing the song, and he goes, "My true love gave to me." So is he receiving all those gifts?
Sounds like it. Sounds like he's got a woman on the chain.
Well, but like he's getting a whole bunch of gifts. What's he giving her?
Bunch of shitty gifts too, like a bunch of things. Like, hey, how are you going to take care of a bunch of birds? How are you going to? Yeah. I don't even know what.
Partridge in a pear tree.
Then isn't there like something like
Geese a laying.
yeah, you get a bunch
5 golden rings,
a lot
4
of
French
birds.
hens, 2
You'd better
turtle
live on a
doves.
farm. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's see what happened on this day in 1972. Ooh, a big day for us space nerds. On this day in 1972, the Apollo program made some news. Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt began the third and final EVA. That's an extravehicular activity, or moonwalk for the rest of you out there. This was the Apollo 17 Michigan. This is the Apollo 17 mission, and to this day, it is the last time human beings set foot on the moon. That happened on this day in 1972. We never went back. We crossed it off. We crossed it off our list of things, and apparently we forgot how to do it because they're not.
Or we got rid of the studio where it was all filmed.
Shut up. That is not something that I will cotton to, young man. Also on this day in 2003, Operation Red Dawn. You know what Operation Red Dawn of the Iraq War was? Nah, of course you don't. I didn't know it. I'm looking at it. That's the only
No.
reason I know it. On this day in 2003, former Iraqi President Saddam Hussein was captured near his town of Tikrit. Remember they found him in a ditch? He was hiding,
Yeah.
covering like an animal, like a little bitch. He was hiding in there, and they pulled him out. Not the way they pulled out
Gaddafi.
from the drain pipe. No, that was a lot worse.
Yeah.
And then we hung him. We hung him. We hung him pretty quickly.
Yeah. Like all these other trials seem like they take years and years and years. You get a dictator, they bring him to trial pretty quick and get rid of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Except in the case of Osama, bin Laden. We just took him out in the moment. No need for a trial there.
Well, he pretty much didn't want a trial.
Yeah, All right, let's see. A couple of birthdays we're celebrating today. Dick Van Dyke is 96 years old. I saw Dick Van Dyke trending this morning, and you know what I thought? I didn't think he was having another birthday. I thought it was the bad.
Yeah, I remember the opening of his show, he would like fall down.
Yeah.
That was like the funniest opening. I don't understand why they did that, but
do you know that he was drunk off his ass for all of the filming of that show?
That maybe explains how he hit the ottoman or the couch and he like fell over.
He was graceful. Dick Van Dyke was a legendary alcoholic, and then he cleaned himself up like in the 70s, and
Do you think they planned that, or was that something that happened on set and they're like, that'd be kind of a great opening because Dick comes in here kind of sauced a lot?
Nah, they planned that up. He was a dancer. He was very fleet of foot. He was I think they planned that. But I used to always watch the Dick Van Dyke Show because if you remember, not every episode had him falling over the ottoman. It was like 1 in every 3 they'd show that one. They had 2 different opening sequences. One where he would fall, and then another one where he'd just about fall, and then he'd step out of the way of it. It was always like, oh, which one is it? Is he going to fall this one, or is he going to step out of the way? Yeah, Jeff Glenn says he fell in some, in others he didn't. Yeah, he did. He stepped out of it like they were teasing us. So happy birthday, Dick Van Dyke. He's 96 years old. Haven't seen him recently. Don't know how he's doing, but I can tell you, I just recently last week saw 99-year-old Norman Lear on that. You know, they do that thing on ABC where they do live versions of old sitcoms for live from a studio audience, I think it's called. It's a Jimmy Kimmel deal. Jimmy Kimmel hosts it, and they do Norman Lear shows. And 99-year-old Norman Lear was out there last week. And I'm telling you, if that's what 99 is, sign me up. Norman Lear is like you or me, man. I mean, he was not in a wheelchair. At one point, Jimmy Kimmel introduced him, and the crowd went wild. And Norman Lear stood up and took his hat off and did a big bow, and he had a ponytail. It's like, man, that's 99. And spry of mind. That dude is still articulate. That dude has all of his faculties. He's 99 years old. Dick Van Dyke is 96, so I hope he's doing half as well as we should all be doing half as well as 99-year-old Norman Lear. Jamie Foxx turns 54 today. North Texas's own Jamie Foxx, born on this day in 1967. And another big celebrity birthday that's got the Twitter all abuzz. Everybody's going crazy. It's Taylor Swift's birthday. She's 32 years old, born on this day in 1989.
32?
32. Doesn't that make you feel old? Doesn't that make you feel old? It makes me feel old. Taylor Swift is a woman, a complete. There is no more. Wait. Taylor Swift is 32. Is she in my? What is the equation? All right, hold on. 52 in half. Got to half that. So that's 25. That's 26 plus 7, right? 4, 5, 6. She's just under me. She's just under me. Damn it.
32. Well, that means that, your son has free reign.
Yeah, my son and I, we argue over who she'd go for, me or him. And I've so far won because he's a child and it's illegal for her to go for
I was going to say, he's still out of range.
Yeah, a couple of years will be fine.
Let's see, is she in his thing? Nope, she would be out of his range too.
Yeah, but she'll age into him, just like I'll age into her. I'll after a couple of years, I'll be.
Will she really? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think so. Don't you age into it?
No, I don't think she's going to. Like, he's what, 12? So you add her, she'll be at 38. Half of 38 is 19 plus 7. She'll always be.
All right. Well, that's okay. That's a win for me then. That's
she's a tween. She's like in between the both of you. She's like too young for him and too young for you and too old for him.
All right. We don't need to tell him that. All right. Let's see. What is today? Today is the day of Pick a Pathologist Day. Pathologist. What does a pathologist do? Isn't that like the dude that does the lab tests and stuff like that? Like issues and all that? Yeah. Okay. Pick a Pathologist Day. So
wouldn't it be like pick up a disease day instead of a pathologist?
Yeah. I don't know who's I don't know who.
Isn't that why you needed pathologist? Figure out what's going on with you?
I don't know what any of that stuff means. It's National Violin Day for all you Asian little girls out there. Everybody who played the violin in my school, they were all Asian little girls. You never saw a fat white kid playing the violin. They always got stuck with the tuba or the drums. But it was always a little Asian girl carrying around her violin case. Tell me you didn't have that experience. Come on. Everybody that you remember in school playing a violin was always a cute little Asian girl.
I don't even remember. I guess maybe we didn't have the violin.
Or Asians. Did you not have Asians? Because you certainly had the violin. You had a school orchestra.
Nah, yeah. I don't know. We played the polka in Buffalo, so maybe like the accordion.
Yeah, a lot of accordions and tubas. A lot of fat Polish kids.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any violins.
All right. It is the birthday of the National Guard. Happy birthday, National Guard.
Hard at work in Kentucky right now.
National Guard is trending, and we're not going to go into why, because that's stupid, divisive politics. It's National Day of the Horse.
Well, which type of horse?
Well, let's click on it. Let's see. National Day of the Horse. I think it's just, let's see.
All horses?
Well,
There's certainly a range of horses, you know.
National Day of the Horse, December 13th, encourages people of the United States to be mindful of the contribution of horses to the economy, history, and character of the United States. The domesticated horse we know today, also known as Equus caballus, was introduced into North America by Spanish explorers. Escaped horses eventually spread across the American Great Plains. Interestingly, there is a debate about the origin of the horse. Recent mitochondrial studies of ancient horses called Equus lami suggest that it is equivalent to the modern domesticated horse. Yeah, you know, that is interesting. So, like, horses are not native to this country. Horses don't just like spring up in the wild and like run around. They were brought over by Spanish conquistadors. And then a bunch of them, you know, were either abandoned, because when a guy gets killed on the back of a horse, the horse just runs into the woods, you know, or whatever, or they escape, whatever. And those became the wild Mustangs that like super overpopulated all over the place. And then suddenly we had wild horses here, but it was only after the Spanish conquistadors introduced them.
Well, they had to be wild somewhere, wherever they came from. Like, they started out in the wild. It's not like we started growing them.
Right? Like, look, where did the Spanish people get them? They had to have been out in, yeah. It's not like they had like cloning or the ability to just create a breed back in the Stone Age. There had to have been. Were there prehistoric horses?
It's kind of like dogs, you know, all these different breeds of dogs. Like, at some point they were out in the wild somewhere.
Maybe a horse is just like, well, what about cows? I was going to say maybe it's just like a deer and a cow got together and made a horse.
I will say, though, it is hard to believe that like some of these dogs, the purebred like dogs, like they had a purpose, like out in the wild. Like,
well, they're
think
wolves.
of like the wiener dog.
They all started from, yeah, right? That's like an atrocity. That's a genetic atrocity. That was once a wolf. Somewhere down the line, the wiener dog was a wolf. How did it become the wiener dog?
Or I don't know, but like, seems like if you were the wiener dog, like what were you hunting?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the purpose of a wiener dog. We'll have to figure that out on Wiener Dog Day, because that is definitely not today.
Or a Chihuahua?
Dachshund Day. It's also National Cocoa Day. So have yourself some cocoa if you're of the mind.
Seems appropriate that it's in December. That's like a cocoa month.
Except it's going to be 80 degrees tomorrow. It's going to be, or Wednesday. It's going to be 80 degrees again. It was freezing last night. It was freezing Saturday night. And now it's going to be back up to 80. This is, I don't know.
It's weird.
I'm not used to this weather. And I don't remember this weather being this weird the last time I lived in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember 80s in December.
No, I don't ever remember 80s in December. As a matter of fact, I remember a Halloween trick-or-treating with my son where he was very upset. He was like 3 years old or something. He was upset because he couldn't wear his costume. He had to wear a big winter jacket over it. That was Halloween. And it was like in the 40s.
Hold on, let me go shut the door. I don't know. We must have had a package delivery.
Yeah. Listen to that animal.
CeeLo.
Yeah, I've been watching that animal all weekend. She's over here at the guest house on the 1%er compound. My dog niece has been driving me insane all weekend. Adam Reyna says it was 80 the day I moved to Dallas in December 12th of 2002. Okay, so global warming isn't real. There you go. Greetings from Dallas. Look, Kenny Jenkins. He's making his way through the state. He's in Dallas now. Welcome, Kenny. All right, speaking of weather, that's the top thing trending that I have here. Tornadoes. The rare December tornado outbreak. And it wasn't just a minor tornado outbreak. It was believed to be, although the official results haven't come in yet, the largest track of tornado to ever hit the United States of America. 250 plus miles of destruction across 5 states, spun up 10 separate storms. Now, those separate storms produced multiple tornadoes of their own, but it went through 5 states. Boy, I was watching this on Friday night. My alerts started going off at around 11 o'clock Friday night. I've got all of these alerts. And it's Chicago area weather and all that, so I still have those things coming on my phone. So that's how I was first alerted to it, that there were all these. We're talking about the tornadoes, the storms that are trending. So yeah, about 11 o'clock, I put on my guy, Steve Lookner, who does all of this stuff. And I thought it was just the Chicago area tornadoes because that's the alert that I got on my phone. But holy cow, man, 5 states, 250 plus miles of tornado track. Like I said, they believe that if that number holds up, it is the largest tornado track in the history of North America. There's never been a tornado that tracked on the ground for that long. 250 miles, multiple tornadoes spun up from the storm. 5 states saw massive destruction. We're only talking about Kentucky, but Arkansas got whacked really good. Missouri got whacked really good. Illinois got whacked. That was the big story late into the night, Friday night. An Amazon distribution center in Edwardsville, Illinois, got just smacked, and the roof collapsed. The entire building collapsed. And because it's Christmas time, there were full capacity. The place was filled with workers when the roof came in. We still don't have a death count there. The town of why can't I think of the name of the town now? This is terrible. This is terrible for me. Anyway,
So it is. I think I saw this morning it was like 68 dead in Kentucky,
still, yeah,
and they think it's going to get possibly, well, for sure into the 70s and possibly into the 80s.
These storms hit at the absolute worst time. One, they happened at a time of year when people don't expect to be whacked by tornadoes like this, but it's because we've had the 80-degree temperatures here and 30-degree temperatures up north. That's what caused the storm. The fact that we've been in the 80s here in Texas and it's been in the 30s up near the Great Lakes, and those two weather fronts combine, and that's when you start to get these, crazy freak storms. The Kentucky town, I can't believe I can't think of the town. I'm terribly sorry. Completely leveled. I mean, I was listening to police calls on the scanner while this was happening. And Bowling Green. I am surprised that there isn't more out of Bowling Green, because once it ripped through this
Home of the Corvette Museum.
Yes, got hit. Home of the Corvette Museum got hit.
Really?
In Bowling Green, yeah. And there was a candle factory in Arkansas that got directly hit. There, Marysville, I'll find it. Somebody in the chat room knows what town it was in Kentucky that got completely decimated. So that town got whacked, totally flattened. And then they were tracking the tornado as it moved out of that town and moved through Kentucky. And that's when it started bearing down on Bowling Green, which is a fairly large town. It was the first town that was in real trouble. And boy, oh boy, I will tell you, the way the police in Mayfield, that's it. Thank you, Leslie. Mayfield, Kentucky. The way the police in Bowling Green were reacting in the immediate aftermath of the tornado hitting the south side of the city, I thought the entire city of Bowling Green was gone. I mean, the police calls were coming in from neighborhoods saying entire neighborhoods were gone. And I've seen the pictures there. And yeah, it seems like one subdivision got really whacked hard in Bowling Green, but it was the town just before it, Mayfield, that got hit the absolute worst. That town is gone. Town is just flattened.
Yeah, it looked like a war zone when I saw it. Like, just people, like, how they even lived there.
And tornadoes are scary, man. I've lived through a couple of tornadoes, and the thing that, I mean, here in Texas, they spin up in Texas. So they start here and then they get sucked up through Tornado Alley, and they're drawn by the weather, the Great Lakes. So they go straight up through Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, right into that. And then they typically peter out around the Great Lakes. But I mean, when I was a kid, we had basements, So, I mean, it was like no big deal. The house could be gone, but we'd be safe. Here, I mean, I remember living through a couple of tornado warnings here, and it was like, where do you go? A doorway? A doorway is supposed to save me?
Yeah, up north, they had, like, those storm doors to get to your basement, like,
Right.
they'd flop open and you
Yeah.
would, like, go down in.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
those are
here, they got nothing like that.
yeah, like in rural Midwest, they all have, the grain cellars where they all go into, which is where you store the grain and all that stuff under, for so it doesn't spoil. And they also double as tornadoes. But in like suburban areas like the Chicago area, everybody's got a storm area. Everybody's got a basement. Everybody's got it all prepared for, in case of emergency, a couple of mattresses, some bottled water, all of that kind of stuff. And I've had to ride out a couple of tornadoes in my youth. My neighborhood I lived in, a friend of mine's house, their neighbor got completely decimated. Tornadoes are so weird. Like they will just flatten one house and the house next door won't even have windows blown out. It's just so random the way they hit and bounce and then drop back
Seems like
down.
they find trailer parks a lot.
Well, yeah, they're not anchored down. That's why. Trailer parks are just
Or the media runs there like, "Okay, we had a tornado, let's," because it just seems like the media is always at a trailer park when a tornado comes.
Hey, you know what? It just dawned on me that we didn't do our moment of joy today. So let's do a quick moment of joy. And this isn't a moment of joy. This is a moment of decency. This is just a dude being super decent. Here, I want you to watch this. So apparently, Houston basketball lost a heartbreaker of a game to Alabama Saturday night. Here, we'll make sure we show this. And the coach of Houston went absolutely nuts after the game. Kicked over garbage cans, threw chairs, acted like a total bitch, right? Just embarrassing himself, embarrassing the program, all of that. And they all run into the locker room. Watch this. This is one player from Houston. Look at what he did. One player from Houston cleaned up the mess. This kid, this is a good kid. This is a kid who understands that there's a janitor who has to now clean up the mess that his previous coach made. He's helping out. There you go. That's a good kid right there. That's a good kid. Coaches are some of the most infantile bitches on the planet.
I can't believe that the program, didn't reprimand him.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe that'll happen today. Who knows? But that kid is trending. What's his name? That kid's name is. After his coaches tore chairs and kicked through cash cans, the University of Houston's Jamal Sheed stopped and picked up the trash after an emotional loss to Alabama. Jamal Sheed, good kid of the day. Good kid, Jamal Sheed. All right, let's get into some of the things that are trending today. We did our moment of decency. Person of the year. Person of the year is trending. Any guesses on who this year's person of the year is?
It is Elon Musk.
Yeah. Now, let's not get it twisted. Just because you're named person of the year doesn't mean you're the best person. This is an award for the best person going, okay? Adolf Hitler was Time Magazine's person of the year in 1938, and not because he was the nicest guy around. It was because he was the most impactful person of the year. And that's really what this is. People get it twisted. People think, person of the year, that's like the best person. No, it's not. Time Magazine awards this to a person, a group, an organization, or a movement every year that has the most impact around the globe. And this year it's Elon Musk, not because he's the best person, not because he's the wealthiest guy on the globe, but because of his impact, because of what he's been doing with space. And, should we find out? Let's see.
Space. But, I mean, okay, great. You're the richest dude in the world. But, I don't get it, with him. Okay, he's got an electric car. It's a cool electric car.
Okay, he invented PayPal or whatever.
Other people have other cars.
Yeah.
I mean, what's so great about Tesla's electric car than every other electric car?
Well, again, it's not great. It's impact. Apparently that car has had the impact or, there's a Time Magazine has named CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, Elon Musk, as Person of the Year. Person of the Year is a marker of influence, and few individuals have had more influence than Musk on life on Earth, and potentially life on Earth 2. Earth 2, get it? Mars. Time editor-in-chief Edward Felsenthal wrote, in 2021, Musk emerged not just as the world's richest person, but also as perhaps the richest example of a massive shift in our society. It was indeed a banner year for Musk, who garnered attention for becoming the richest person in the world, in part due to the rise of Tesla's stock price. With SpaceX, Musk launched the first ever mission to Earth's orbit with a crew of only tourists and no professional astronauts. Yeah, tell me about that. Michael Strahan went to space yesterday, or at least near space.
Well, he did the Captain Kirk experience. He kind of floated out there for 7 minutes and then came back.
He did the candy ass Bezos trip to space, where he just barely.
The Blue Origin.
Yeah, just barely. All right. We're going to debate whether or not you're really an astronaut, but all right.
When he came back, was it life-changing?
Did
they interview him? Did you see his interview?
No, because at this point, it's all just a publicity stunt now. You know what
I
mean?
I definitely think that Bezos is like positioning himself for an NFL run of some sort. I don't know what team.
Bears. That's what we're hoping.
Well, that's what you're hoping, but it seems like taking Michael Strahan and introducing that on Thursday Night Football, and he's sitting there.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Look, I just
somewhere.
I just want my team to be owned by a crazy billionaire who's going to see it as a toy and a point of pride. I'm tired of the family business of the McCaskey Hallises. I'm tired of them making only money off their football team. I want a guy who's going to see his football team as a loss leader, as a guy who's going to just lose money because he wants to be able to brag to his other rich friends about his team. That's just what I want. That's all. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the family business model of operating a football team. In 1927, that's the first year that the Time tradition began, and has since changed to not only recognize an individual, but also to consider the impact of groups, movements, or an idea that had the most influence in the past year. Let's see here. The annual choice is not necessarily considered an honor, since the selection could have wielded negative influence. For example, Adolf Hitler was named Man of the Year in 1938. Some of Musk's online behavior has gotten him into trouble and at times distracted from his accomplishments. In 2018, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission charged him with fraud for tweeting that he was considering taking Tesla private. He agreed to a deal that involved having Tesla lawyers approve tweets that would affect shareholders, but a recent Wall Street Journal report said 2 tweets violated the agreement. All right, whatever. So there you go. Elon Musk, he is your Time Magazine thing of the year. He's talking about cashing out. He's talking about cashing out of Tesla and just being done with it. I mean, a couple weeks ago, he liquidated $5 billion of his Tesla stock, which is nothing for him. That's he's going to 100 million. Isn't he one of these 100 billion guys now?
I think so.
Okay, let's see here. We already covered Taylor Swift. She's trending on multiple fronts. Jk Rowling is trending today, but also not related to why JK is trending. Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore, a new movie by Warner Brothers. The trailer's been released, and that's trending as well. But why is JK Rowling trending? Well, apparently she said something awful again. She said something awful about trans people.
She gets herself in trouble so often.
She don't care. She's got that FU money. She's got that, she invented the game of Quidditch money. She's so this time she wrote a column, an opinion piece in a London newspaper about it. And look, okay, let's you and I talk about this. Okay. So in Scotland police, not to be confused with Scotland Yard, which is the investigative agency of the British law enforcement, in Scotland, the police in Scotland have now decided that if someone who commits rape, who is a man who rapes with a penis, they now have the right to declare themselves females in the official police report. And the police in Scotland now have to say that, well, yeah, even though it's a dude who raped somebody and they got a penis, this person identifies as a female. So in the official court documents, they will be listed as a female. And Jk Rowling has a problem with that. She's like, are you kidding me? This is mad. Now, I don't know how that would affect anything. Like rape is rape, right? I mean, it doesn't change the fact that a penis was used. I don't understand this, but JK is very upset. She's very angry that trans people or rapists are now able to claim that they are trans people. And I don't know if that has any positive effect on the charges. I mean, I don't understand how it would. The act of rape is the act of rape, whether it's a woman doing the rape or a male. But in the official court documents, a male rapist who decides that he's a woman now can be, in court as a woman. And she doesn't like it. And she's taking heat for it. And I don't think she's all that wrong. I think that sounds crazy. But again, I'm a 50-something-year-old man. I'm just trying to get through the world. It's changing before my very eyes. I don't want to upset the apple cart. I understand that this is a kid's world now. They're going to make the decisions. I just want to live in peace. But yeah, that seems kind of screwy to me.
I mean, if you're a male and you're in the process of raping somebody, or you've raped somebody, and then you're going to fill out a police report and say, no, I'm not a male, I'm a female. Wouldn't your male body part not have to have worked in order for you to maybe argue that you are a female? Like if your penis didn't get erect?
I don't know. Rape, sexual assault is sexual assault. I mean, I don't make
right. But if your male body part is working,
okay. So
how can you then argue that no, I'm a female?
You're not going to drag me into this. Because I don't know. Does Caitlyn Jenner's male body part still work? I assume it does. Can't you be a transitioning woman or a transition? I don't know, man. See, I'm just trying to surf this without getting people mad at me. I don't care. This doesn't affect me at all. I mean, I don't see any reason.
Well, but I'm just saying, if somebody else is saying, hey, this person raped me because their male body part was working, then I don't know. I'm confused too.
Well, JK is not confused. She has made her opinions known, and she's getting hammered for it. And everybody, they're all saying, all of these kids who grew up, this would be like for me, because I missed the Harry Potter thing, right? I was a grown-up when Harry Potter got released. My kid loves Harry Potter. My kid, grew up on that stuff. He loves the movies. He loves the books. For me, this would be like if George Lucas suddenly became like a fascist, It's like he was my Jk Rowling. The Star Wars stuff was more about my childhood. So a lot of people who grew up with Jk Rowling and Harry Potter are now turning on her. And well, they have been turning on her, calling her horrible names for years now. She's firmly in the corner of she's not buying the whole trans thing, which...
Well, I mean, now that we're on this topic, like if it's a instinct, like animal type act that you do, wouldn't the indicator be, do you get erect when you see males or do you get erect when you see females?
I don't think so.
And if you get erect when you see both, then wouldn't you then be bisexual?
I think that's an indicator of sexual orientation, but sexual orientation has nothing to do with one's gender or gender fluidity. Like you can be a man who has transitioned to a woman who is a lesbian woman. So a lesbian woman likes women. So you start out as a man, you decide that your gender is incorrect. So you transition to a woman, but once you become a woman, you're not a heterosexual woman. You are a lesbian woman. It's all very confusing, man. This isn't my world. I don't know.
But I would think if you get erect as a male when you see naked men, and you get erect as a male when you see naked women, then that would be an indicator that you're bisexual. But if you
Right.
don't get erect when you see naked men and you get erect when you see naked women, then I think that's okay, I'm heterosexual.
Okay, but it seems to me that you're conflating again gender fluidity with sexual orientation, and they are two completely separate things.
Okay.
I know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I feel the same way about this issue as I do about a woman's right to choose. I'm not a woman. I probably shouldn't have a vote, and I should keep any opinion I have to myself. And that's basically how I feel about the whole trans thing. I'm a guy. I know I was born a guy. I happen to be a heterosexual guy. You know, I'm a traditionalist, I guess. I am a normie, if you will. I mean, look, I have to sort of lean into the intellectual idea that because I am not personally experiencing something doesn't mean that it doesn't happen for other people. You know what I mean? I cannot relate to what other people are going through because I don't have it. And recognizing that it's true, I guess the bottom line is, do you recognize that things that you are not familiar with or experiencing yourself exist? And I do. I fully accept that somebody who's born a boy could think in their mind that they're a girl. I don't have that, so I can't really relate, but I can say that, yeah, okay, just because I don't have that personal experience doesn't mean it's not something that others do. You know what I mean?
I do, but okay, if you are convinced that you're a girl
And you're born a boy.
and you're born a boy
Okay.
and your male part works when you look at girls,
Then you're a lesbian trans. You're a trans lesbian.
that's a convenient way of making your body work with your thought.
Convenient, maybe in the specific moment, but I would think overall that would be a very inconvenient thing to be experiencing.
Well, but I'm saying
Like is
you
Bruce
could
Jenner?
be a
Oh, excuse me,
feminine
dead name.
male.
Didn't mean to dead name him. I'm old.
You could be a feminine male, but I don't know that just because you're a feminine male means that you're automatically a female.
No, no,
Like if you say,
but
"Oh,
not
well,
all
I
feminine.
feel like I'm a woman, but
I
I'm
don't.
really
Right.
a woman trapped in a man's body."
But that's a separate thing. Like we know plenty of men who are very feminine. They do not think they are transitioning into a woman. They don't think their gender is wrong. They're just a feminine guy. But there's another layer to that of feminine guys who actually do think that they are women, and they're the ones that are transitioning. Now, I knew a feminine guy growing up. He was really feminine. We all swore he was gay. He's not. Here we are, like 50 years later. He's got like 5 kids. But he was definitely a very femme dude growing up, and he's heterosexual. He is not gender fluid. He is a guy, even though he seemed very. No, Adam, don't tell him to stop. This is how people. This is conversations, man. He's not being pejorative. He's not being cruel. He's working this out. God bless you if you've got it figured out. But a lot of people don't. And as long as we're being respectful and trying to figure it out, that's all. That's all we're doing here. Adam's mad at you. Adam gets
Well,
mad.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, I don't. I, it doesn't all make sense. Like, I get it. You can say that you feel you're a woman and you're trapped in a man's body and you're entitled to your own feelings and to live your life the way that you want to, but it doesn't mean that the rest of the world is going to understand that.
Yeah. But you would hope that the rest of the world would be decent about it.
Well, you can
That's a big
respect
hope.
it.
That's a big hope because when we don't, as a species, when we don't understand something that typically manifests itself in hatred and anger because we're frustrated that we don't understand something, and the easiest route to getting to the end of that is going, screw that person, and it's difficult to be decent.
Yeah, I mean,
I understand what you're saying. It's hard for us. We
yeah, it's
didn't have
hard.
to deal with this until just recently. This was not, we weren't 12 when this issue first came up. We haven't had the better part of our, formative experience thinking about this stuff. Okay, so here's my question. This is an honest question, and it's not meant to be funny, and it's not meant, but Caitlyn Jenner, is Caitlyn Jenner, who does Caitlyn Jenner sleep with? Who does Caitlyn, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
think Caitlyn Jenner is bisexual,
well,
but
that,
she prefers to be a female, I guess.
okay.
I mean, because he had relations with
A lot of women,
women.
a lot of women. But the dead name, excuse me, but Bruce Jenner back in the 70s and 80s was always with a smoke show. Always. But Kris Kardashian was gorgeous when he got with her.
So at this point, I mean, isn't that bisexual? And then I guess just because of what you're feeling in your head or in your mind, you then think that you're a female trapped in a man's body. So you then,
I don't
but
know.
you're still at some point bisexual, aren't you?
I don't know, man. All I know is that I'm a guy. I'm barely a guy, but I know I'm a guy, and I'm heterosexual. I like girls. I know that I'm not bisexual. I mean, we've joked about that. I've seen gay porn. It doesn't do anything for me. I just go, huh? So that's what that looks like when they do that. That's basically the experience. And there was never anything that moved or twitched that made me go, huh? I know that I like women. So I don't know how to relate. Not relate. I do know how to relate, because you can always relate through the course of decency. You can always just be understanding and kind and decent. That's how you relate to things you don't understand. I don't understand it, though. My way of processing information hits a roadblock on this particular subject, so I just have to say, you know what?
See, I don't think that it's well. I I don't think it. I think it can be simplified to if you've had a relationship with a male and you've had a relationship with a female, technically you're bisexual.
Okay, agreed. I guess.
Well, but I mean, hi.
I spent a lot of years thinking bisexual wasn't real. I spent years thinking that a guy who was bisexual was just gay and closeted and couldn't go the full route. Now, I have evolved on that. I've evolved on a lot of my thinking as time goes by, as I get older and I meet more people. So I do believe now bisexuality to be a thing, to be a real thing. I don't understand it, though. I really don't, because I don't have that experience. My mind doesn't work that way. I've talked, people are like, dude, you ever do like a threesome with another guy? And I'm like, no, like that's not even anything that I would want to be interested. You know what I mean? Not because there's anything wrong with it, but because the way I process information and the way my system works, that would just be something that would be a little bit too odd for me. So,
Right, but I'm saying if you've had a one-on-one relationship with a man and a one-on-one relationship with a female, I think at that point, regardless of what's going on inside your head, I think the rest of the world would look at that as that's bisexual. If you've only had relations with females, that's heterosexual.
yeah.
If you've only had relationships with the same gender, then that's homosexual. I mean,
I think that the trap that we are falling into, and I'm falling into it with you, is that we are failing to make a distinction between gender fluidity and sexual orientation. And I'm starting to think that they are two very separate issues. But because of who we are and our life experience, we can't help but fall back into, so is he gay? Because that Adam's making some pretty interesting points here. He says, unless they're out with their sexual preference, we shouldn't judge or guess their preferences as much as we'd like. And he is right there. However, it is human nature. It is ingrained in us to attempt to understand. That's what religion is all about.
Well, I'm not guessing. I mean, you brought up Bruce
It's
or
an attempt
Caitlyn
to
Jenner.
understand.
I'm not passing judgment on anybody. I'm just trying to simplify it a little bit because I think
I think we get into
the
trouble when
magic sauce or the special sauce that we can understand is when you say, okay, I have male body parts, but I'm feeling like I'm a female stuck in a man's body. Therefore, I want to change my body parts.
and could that feeling be wrong? Like maybe you're just wrong? Like maybe you're just misinterpreting whatever you're you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I don't want to use the
Yeah.
word wrong, but I would say
Misdiagnosed.
if your male parts are working when you're seeing a female and your gender is a male, you then going, "Oh no, but I'm really a female because I'm attracted to females and I feel like
Because
I'm
your
a
sexual,
female."
but people would argue your sexual orientation does not define your gender. That's where this whole thing, we like to think that sexual orientation defines your gender, but it doesn't. You know, there are gay men out there who are interested in other men who would punch both of us in the face if we called them anything less than a man. You know what I mean? There are gay men who are proud to be men. They are men. They just happen to be gay men because their gender and their sexual orientation are two completely separate aspects of who they are. I again don't get it. Don't I? You know, try not even trying to get it at this point.
But don't
Just
you think that the
understanding.
gender
I'm agnostic on this issue. I'm still
well, but I
searching.
mean,
I'm not
I
passing
think
judgment.
the gender fluidity, the term that you're using,
Mhm.
I think that becomes almost like the wild card in the deck. Like it's been determined you have these body parts you're looked at as a male, you have these body parts you're looked at as a female. If with those body parts you get erect for men and you're a man, then you're homosexual, but if you get erect for females, then you're bisexual. And I think those are all really straight lines or cross lines. You
We
can
are not. We are bright men, but we are not smart enough
I'm
to
not
understand.
okay, I'm not, but I'm
No, I
saying
know you're not.
it seems like here all that's really like okay, it's left, it's right, it's up, it's down. Like you can put all that in a certain kind of well, this then goes to here and this goes to here and this goes to here. It's all of a sudden then when you go, okay, well, the gender fluidity part about it is what's inside my mind. Nobody knows what's inside anybody's mind other than the person that's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And having to go, well, yes, of course you're that person because that's what you feel. And I'm giving you the opportunity to, or I'm respecting your decision to be that way. Okay, fine. But that doesn't necessarily mean that person's right. It just means that we're
Yeah.
respecting their opinion.
I don't know. I'm with Leslie. I think we should move on. I don't know that we're going to really answer anything here.
Well,
Other
I don't
than
know that we're going to answer. I don't
we
know
won't.
that anybody's answered
No.
it
Right. Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. That's the issue that we're dealing with these days. You know, um, again, I don't know that your physical manifestation of your body necessarily is the same thing as what's going on in your head. So you can have a penis, you can have a vagina, but your head could be telling you that that's wrong. That's where I am on this. You know, and I understand that because you just said it. Nobody knows what's going on inside other people's heads quite like the individual. And look, as someone who suffers from manic depression, I've spent my whole life with people going, cheer up. Well, no, see, that shows a lack of understanding about what's going on inside a person with depression's head. It's not an option. Just cheering up is not an option. And that's a lack of understanding. So look, our minds are very complicated. We don't know dick about our minds. I mean, 1,000 years from now, we might have a better understanding of the human mind, and they will look back on us as complete cavemen, when it comes to these kinds of things. Every generation, every civilization, every era of modern humanity seems to think that they are the apex, and we're not. We're not. The Henry Ford in the assembly line at the turn of the century, they thought it can't get any better than this. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We're prisoners to our time and our lack of understanding, and then the understanding that we have about other things. So I don't know. Maybe these answers will be brought in generations to come, but not now. Too many.
I don't like how uncomfortable it makes you.
It's not that it makes me uncomfortable. It's that I'm trying to be decent. I'm trying.
I don't like that you feel like you're not being. It's almost like you're afraid. You're walking on eggshells because you think you're going to say something that's going to upset somebody.
No, I don't think there's any trans people listening. I don't know that there's.
Well, no, but I mean, I don't know what I've said that could upset a trans person.
No, nothing. We're having a conversation, an honest conversation of things that we don't understand, and I'm just simply, I'm trying to force myself as I get older to stay as relevant as possible by understanding and accepting that there are things someone 20 years younger than me will see as fact that I've just discovered now. Does that make any sense? I'm trying not to be an old man. Get off my lawn. You know what I mean? I'm trying to stay open-minded.
It just seems weird to me that as a human, you're not capable of being an expert because, in fact, you are a human. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're saying, well, I'm less than an entire human because I'm not capable of understanding my own human emotions and saying, well, that's how it is.
We're just questioning.
Right, but there is no other higher form of human. Everybody's an equal.
Well, Elon Musk would argue that.
Well, but I mean, in terms of you're human,
right?
You're just equal to everyone else. No higher level of expert.
We're having this conversation, and we didn't even write the Harry Potter books. At the end of the day, we don't get to go home to a castle built on billions of dollars in book sales. We've got to go out in the world and deal with people who don't like our opinions. All right, moving on. Jk Rowling is taking a lot of crap because she doesn't like what's going on.
Well, I'm taking a lot of crap too.
Nah, you're fine.
I don't care, but I'm just saying.
Honestly, I believe that you can have any opinion you want as long as it comes from a place of sincerity and decency. It's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to be confused. And I'm not saying you are, and I'm not saying I am. We're just asking questions. We don't know. But the problem is that when people who come from a place of sincerity and decency are wrong, we now live in a world where that person is burnt at the stake. It's not fair. The woke mob, as it's being called, will come for us all at some point. Just better not make any mistakes publicly. And by that, I mean on social media. All right, also trending today. This is something we've been waiting on hearing all day. It was rumored this morning, but it happened now, just a couple of minutes ago. I'd like to thank April for pointing this out to me. My Chicago Bulls are now trending across all platforms. Thank you, NBA. They have postponed the next two games. You see what's happening with the Chicago Bulls?
Well, I heard that they are COVID positive.
The entire team, every single starter except for Vooch is out and in COVID protocols. They have all tested positive. They are all out for at least 10 days. We have been manically signing players since last Thursday, G League players. This is a first place team. Half came out of first place. This in the East. This is a team that is having an incredible season. And one by one, every single one of our players has had to go into COVID protocols. The team that would have been sent out on the court yesterday would have been a team full of G League players that aren't even in the league, just guys that were available and could pass which is ridiculous. I mean, it's So thankfully, the NBA finally said after the 9th Bulls player, our superstar, Zach LaVine, went down yesterday, the league finally, they were talking about this
Are
like
they all vaxxed?
supposedly, supposedly they're all vaxxed. The Bulls reached 100% vaccination status. So none of them are sick. None of them are vomiting and, all of that kind of stuff, but they've all tested positive. This is going on around the team. Half the players are just hanging out in their house playing basketball because they all have their own basketball courts. So yeah, there's nobody in the hospital. There's nobody sick. The Bulls were reported a 100% vaccination rate, but they still popped hot. They still blew, so they're all out. The entire team is out. I mean, it would have been a bloodbath over the next couple of weeks. Now they've postponed the next 2 games, which isn't going to be enough because we're not going to get these players back. I mean, think about that. They were going to put a team out there on Tuesday night who was going to be guys who had never played together before. They had no idea of the system that Billy Donovan was. I mean, come on. That's unfair.
Well,
I mean,
it may be. I don't know that it's unfair. I think it's unlucky.
it'd be like a strike team. Remember remember the NFL, they rolled out the spare teams, the strike teams. Imagine if not every team had strike players though. What if you had like in 1986 or whatever, the New York Giants who won the Super Bowl. They were fine, but then your Buffalo Bills had a bunch of guys who were selling shoes the previous week who didn't know the plays. It would have been a bloodbath. It would have been totally unfair.
I
That's
know,
not good
but
for the league.
I mean, once you're in the season,
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I mean, look, they've given us 2 games here. 2 games is not going to be enough to get everybody back. But maybe what they're thinking is 2 games of practices with these new players. They'll at least be able to figure, you know what I mean? They'll at least play together for 2 days or 4, or whenever the next. Chicago Bulls' next 2 games have been postponed due to COVID-19 outbreak within the team. Tuesday's home matchup against the Pistons and Thursday's road game against the Raptors will be rescheduled at a later date. As of Elise Johnson's entry Monday morning, 10. Oh, we got a new one this morning. Oh, okay. So one of the spares is now tested positive. One of the new guys who is just.
I mean, I think they're just going to have to give. I mean, if you're giving everybody a 2-game opportunity to train guys that are not COVID positive
and learn how to pass to one another because they've never played together before.
That seems to be maybe a form of, okay, we're trying to help. But if you're going to just suspend 2 games and then not follow the 10-day isolation protocol, because obviously you're going to play more than 2 games in 10 days, I don't know that that's helping.
Here's what's as of Elise Johnson's entry Monday morning, 10 Bulls. Remember, there's only 15 players on an NBA squad. Okay, there's only 15. And, other than the first 8, the rest of them are all bench players. They're all, guys at the end of the bench who get in, for an injury or when it's a blowout. As of Elise Johnson's entry Monday morning, 10 Bulls players had entered the NBA's health and safety protocol since December 1st. Kobe White, Javonte Green, DeMar DeRozan, Derek Jones Jr., starters, Ayo Dosunmu, Stanley Johnson, Zach LaVine, Troy Brown Jr., while White and Green Kobe White have passed their required 10-day in protocols, their statuses for Tuesday's game were unclear at the time of postponement. All right, so luckily this was staggered. Like some of them were already in protocols for a couple of weeks, so those guys are ready to come back. So maybe it won't be as bad as just fielding, a junior college team against the NBA's best. Maybe that. I don't know, man. I just don't expect to win another game until after Christmas. That's how I'm looking at this.
Well, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does. All right, so there you go. Especially since they're playing so well. These kids are just balling out there. Such an exciting team. Let's see here. What else do we have trending today? Johnny Depp is trending. Johnny Depp is trending because apparently he was cut out of the new Jk Rowling's film Fantastic Beasts. Whatever. Because remember, Johnny Depp went through a really rough patch with Amanda Heard, his ex-wife, about a year ago, where she claimed that he beat her up and, did all these guys. Well, none of that bore out to be true. All of that turned out to be just, her trying to get more money out of him, or at least that's what people are saying. And in the rush to judgment, he was taken out of the film back when they were filming it. So now the trailer is out, the new movie is coming out, and he's not in it. And Johnny Depp Nation is very angry about the rush to judgment. Jk Rowling's taking it on a bunch of fronts today. Just she's for a guy by the name of Jim Finch. Jim Finch is trending today. Do you know who Jim Finch is? No, of course.
Don't.
Why should you know who Jim Finch is? Jim Finch is a dude, man. He's a guy from Paducah, Kentucky. Let's watch this video of Jim Finch. He's trending today on Twitter. He is our man of the day. He's a dude, he's just a regular working man, doesn't own a restaurant or anything, but he loaded up his pickup truck with food and water and all that stuff and a big giant grill, and he's down there in the middle of Mayfield, Kentucky, a town that was completely devastated by tornadoes. And he's cooking for people. He's giving everybody the free stuff. So let's check out what this guy's all about. Here he is. Let's see. Is it Sharon?
It is.
All right, let's watch this dude. This dude is a good dude. Here you go.
Trying to feed the people.
What are we cooking?
Hamburgers, chicken. I got sausage, eggs. Just a little simple stuff that you can have and not have to worry about making a mess or grab and go type of food.
Are you from the area?
I was born in Paducah, but I came down here today from Clarksville.
You came down here just to cook for people? Wow. You have a restaurant, or you?
You know what I'm saying? It just needed to be done.
How about that? How about that guy, huh? I mean, I don't know what he does for a living, but I saw the back of his pickup truck there. It was filled with like $1,000 worth of food that this guy is just out of. He doesn't own a restaurant, doesn't do anything. He just thought, hey, man, I bet these people are hungry. So he loaded up a big giant grill, and he's down there in the middle of town just giving away free food to people who are hungry. Workers, people who have been displaced. You saw the town behind him. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, good for him. Jim Finch, that's why Jim Finch is trending. Hopefully hopefully something good will come out of this for him. Who knows? Let's see. Rand Paul is trending. Here's why Rand Paul is trending. Well, Rand Paul, of course, senator from Kentucky. He's trending because back when Hurricane Sandy destroyed New York, he went on a rampage on the floor of the Senate saying how no money should be allocated to New York because what? They're liberals? I don't know. He didn't want any help, any government help going to New York after Superstorm Sandy walloped them about 5 years ago. And today he's on the floor asking for help for Kentucky, and people are saying, "Oh no, you didn't want it from New York, so no, you don't get," which is an absolute bitch thing to do. Of course, we help the people in Kentucky. Of course, we help the people in New York. That's what we do as a country. We don't let this bullshit divisive politics determine who is worthy and who is unworthy of help in their time of need. Just tune out Rand Paul. Forget about it. He's asking for money for Kentucky. Is he a hypocrite? Oh, really? Just now, you're catching on that he's a hypocrite? Of course he's a hypocrite. All these guys are hypocrites. The way that people are piling on him, oh, we're not giving you any help. No, we're giving Kentucky help. We're giving Kentucky help. We're giving Alabama help. We're giving Arkansas help. We're giving everybody help that needs it, because that's what we do as a country. We don't just withhold aid to people in need because of what color their state is on the political map.
Well, okay, I'm going to be devil's advocate here. He should at least have to apologize and say that he was wrong.
You want your pound of flesh.
No, I don't want my pound of flesh. But if you are the state of Kentucky and you have put that guy in a position of power that he has the ability to affect other states getting money,
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of get what you bargained for. I mean, you are, as the state of Kentucky, subjecting us to a portion of Rand Paul's wrath.
Mm.
And now the guy that was being a jackass to New York State is now on that reverse asking for money. And so I'm not saying I want a pound of flesh from Rand Paul,
You want an
but
apology.
I'd like to see him, if he gets money, have to say he was wrong previously.
Well, look, I would like that too. That isn't going to happen. I say we just ignore Rand Paul and help the people of our union when they're in need. And Kentucky is in need, and so now we're gonna. And
But
to
why give them a pass for putting a guy like that in power? If you're Kentucky and you got a guy like that in power, you need to take him out.
Because we're not petty and vindictive. That's why. Because we need to try and be better than that.
Well, I'm not being petty or vindictive, but you're subjecting us to that dodo's opinion by putting him in that position of power.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see tonight in Pillow Talk what James Parker has to say, because Rand Paul is one of his heroes. He loves Rand Paul.
He's the one who got beat the shit by his neighbor, like he busted like 15 of his ribs or something.
Yeah. Rand Paul is the irritating neighbor that drove his neighbor to the point of just beating the shit out of a sitting United States senator. Think about how infuriating.
And that guy was a doctor, wasn't he? Like his neighbor was a doctor.
Yes. Think of how infuriated you are by your neighbor's action, that at some point while you're trucking across the yard to tackle him and beat the shit out of him, you don't go, wait a second now.
This guy's a U.S. senator.
This is not going to be good.
You know you're serious about whipping your neighbor's ass when he's a senator.
That's just, the greatest indication of what a dick Rand Paul is.
And did he get like some prison time or something, I think?
He got in trouble, that's for sure. All right, here's another thing that's trending here today. This is Christian Walker. Do you know who Christian Walker is? No, of course you don't, because I've never heard of Christian Walker.
Y'all said Joe Biden.
Okay, so Christian Walker, we're going to get a look at this kid for the first time. Christian Walker is the son of Herschel Walker. Christian Walker is son
I can only
of
imagine.
A guy who is running for Senate in Georgia, Herschel Walker. A guy who, for the better part of his life growing up, people thought was retarded. That's how stupid Herschel Walker was. Herschel Walker never passed the test. Herschel Walker was just ushered through high school because he could run that
isn't he diagnosed bipolar as well?
Herschel Walker? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that he couldn't read, he couldn't write. They had to teach him how to read and write in college, and then even Herschel Walker was thought to be retarded by everybody who knew him until he was like 18 or 19 years old. No, but he could run the football, and he could run the football well. And so he skated through a lot of the things that would typically trip up the rest of us. And he became a very rich football player. And he went on The Apprentice. And if you remember Herschel Walker from The Apprentice, I remember watching Herschel Walker on The Apprentice and going, oh, he is retarded. That guy can barely speak. That guy doesn't even know how to articulate his thoughts. He looks good in a suit. He's 0% body fat, and he's like all ripped, and he looks fantastic. But this guy is a dummy, a real dummy. And now because of that, he is Trump's hand-picked guy to try and steal away the black vote in Georgia. So he's running for senator down there as a MAGA Trump guy. His son, however, who was raised as a privileged silver spoon kid, obviously, the son of Herschel Walker, a lot of money, grew up privileged, grew up in the best of the neighborhoods. His son has become a social media influencer, and he is trending right now. Let's see if we can pull this up, because he's out there. All right, so I'll tell you. So Christian Walker cut a video, TikTok or Instagram or whatever, cut a video and put it out on social media, which he's getting hammered for right now, where he's at a gas pump. And he is pumping gas, and he is blaming Joe Biden for his assault on the working class person, right? It's Joe Biden's fault. Look at how expensive gas is. I'm Christian Walker. Look at it. This is terrible. A working mother can't afford gasoline, blah, blah, blah. And he's getting hammered because he's wearing a $1,500 Givenchy sweatshirt while he's talking about the plight of the working class. So here's this dummy. Let's take a look at him. Do we see him there?
We do.
Okay.
That's $1,500.
That is, that's what it's saying. Yeah. Although, Couldn't you just get that couldn't you just buy that at like Marshall's? Couldn't that just be like a bootleg? But it's
You
not.
could certainly get the bootleg black hoodie and then figure out how to get
Right.
that font.
Right, because that does not look like it's worth $1,500. But yeah, there are posts attached to this which show it online at the Givenchy store for $1,500. So so let's hear what this man of the people in his $15 or $1,500 hoodie has to say.
Was going to be the great unifier. This is divisive to my bank account and my hard-earned money. Screw your unity. You think this is unifying? Just keeps going up. Oh, just keep going up. Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden for you families struggling to afford to get to work. That's unifying. That's bringing the nation together. Screw this. Disgusting. Oh, just keep going. Keep going. Democrats voted for this. Democrats voted for... What the... Wait, what? I know this is a joke. But I was voting for the guy who was going to destroy America. You were paying $30 for gas under my guy.
Okay, so there you go. That's Herschel Walker's son. Remember earlier when we were saying that you don't have to be gay to be super feminine? Herschel Walker's son. I have no idea what his orientation is. He might be out. He might be straight. But that is a very feminine man. And his dad is not a feminine man.
I'm just amazed.
What a dick he is. What an asshole.
Yeah, like, I mean, how... Okay, so he's saying that under Trump, he got gas for $30. There was never a time that you could fill up a tank for $30 in the Trump. Like, never.
I don't know. He doesn't care. He's talking to dumb people who think that Herschel Walker would be a good senator. I mean, all right, but he's got more. He is responding now to the backlash that he took online. Are you ready? Are you ready for more of this guy? Here he comes, Herschel Walker's son, with part 2. Here you go.
The Democrats don't like me because I'm rich. I'm sorry that my parents weren't lazy on the couch all day waiting for handouts. I'm sorry that they built businesses and won championships, and now I can shop at Fendi and Givenchy. I just hope one day people realize it's not my fault that we work hard and build things worthwhile. End scene!
Is there a more loathsome individual than that?
I'm just speechless.
That little bitch. First of all, your father couldn't even get out of high school other than the fact that he could run for 250 yards per game. Your father couldn't read when he was in college, but he was passed by. So don't tell me about how hard your father worked. What, to learn how to read at 20 years old? Is that what you're saying? And what businesses did your father build? I'm not familiar with the great Herschel Walker conglomerate, the global. I have no idea. And anything that your father received because of his ability to play football. What a little dick. What an asshole. I mean, I watched the show Succession. Succession is trending as well. The characters on Succession are the children of billionaires, and they are loathsome. And there isn't a character on Succession that is as much of an asshole as that guy right there. That guy thinks I guess to the MAGA crowd, that is appealing. That attitude is appealing. That much of an asshole is something that they lean into. I mean, I don't know what to make of that. Herschel Walker is too dumb to know that he shouldn't be proud of that. That's a fact. Herschel Walker is a dumb dude, a really stupid man. I don't know what to make of that, other than to say that that is an incredibly disgusting
How many
representation.
followers does he have?
Oh, probably millions. Yeah, well, I don't know. Let's see. Well, let's ask. Let's ask Google. How many
I mean-
social media followers does Christian Walker have? Okay, so as of June 2021, he has 390,000 Instagram followers. Let's look at him on Twitter. He has 200,000 followers on Twitter. Yeah, all right.
It's a decent amount.
Yeah, it's enough to be considered.
It's not millions.
No, it's not. It's not. But it might be after this. I can only imagine. I mean, just what a reprehensible person.
I mean, don't you think he's like doing it in order to get that kind of, I mean, he's almost playing to it.
I don't know. Do you want it? Do you want followers because you're an asshole? See, that was always something that I grappled with on the P&K show. There were a lot, not the full disclosure. There were a lot of people that loved that station that I found to be just gross human beings, just disgusting representation, but they were fans, right? And there were a lot of times when I thought, oh my God, am I doing something wrong? If this person is enjoying what I'm doing, am I doing something wrong? So in the realm of this kid, Christian Walker, if he is putting on an act just to get followers, how does he sleep at night? Yeah. Now, the other side of that.
Well, he sleeps because like he's got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of followers.
Yeah, but that tells me that he's morally bankrupt. That tells me that he doesn't care. Well, I don't want to go into this.
But that's how you get paid.
Right. And that's why I'm living in a guest house. I guess that's why, because look, I had opportunities to go into a certain kind of radio. I had multiple opportunities. And every single time I said, no, I can't do that. That would be just gross. I need to do something that I love doing. That's the only way that I'm going to survive in this life. I'm messed up. I have this depression. I have these crazy things going on in my head. I can't compound that by laying in bed at night hating myself because of the big rouge that I'm pulling. I just can't. And I know plenty of people. I know a number of people who work in a certain style of media who are frauds. They're just doing it for the paycheck. They don't believe anything, but they've decided that here, this is how I get the audience that they want, by saying this kind of stuff. And they sleep fine at night. I'm not saying I'm better. In fact, I'm saying that I'm probably not as good because I can't compartmentalize like that. I have to enjoy what I'm doing. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good word. I think people are capable of compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
And some people are not.
I'm not.
And like, if you're an attorney and you're representing the insurance company and you're fighting against injured workers, I think that would be a job I could not go home at night.
Right.
And do. But I think there are guys and girls that obviously do that job, and they look at it like, I'm representing this corporation, and for every injured worker that I get benefits denied for, I'm saving money for the insurance company. Now, does that mean that you're a bad person? I don't know. I tend to think of them as bad people if they're taking money away from legitimate people that are hurt on the job.
What about attorneys who make their money defending child molesters, rich child molesters? Who can afford the good. I mean, I don't.
But I mean, somebody is going to do it. There's always going to be somebody that has to defend somebody in our legal system.
Yep. Yeah. There does. Everyone has a right to an attorney and a competent defense.
And if they didn't have an attorney, I don't know that it would be fair to take them to trial. So I see that as But God, it would be tough to not hate yourself.
Right. Right. And certainly everyone is everyone deserves a defense, and everyone deserves. But do the defense attorneys who represent obviously reprehensible individuals have to take so much glee in it, or try to bend the system to get off on technicalities and all of those sorts? That's not exactly serving justice either. You know, when these guys try to, you know, no, maybe he's guilty, but I can win the court case on this technicality. You know what I mean? That I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't live with myself. These people that did this, Josh Duggar had a team of high-priced New York attorneys that did everything in their power to get him off of these child porn charges. Those guys are dicks. You know that Josh Duggar had already molested his own sisters. He admitted to that years ago. This was, I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand. Some people are just bad. Some people are just not good people.
Well, I think they're good at compartmentalizing. I mean, I think that's a great choice of words.
They're good at compartmentalizing, but that does not make you good. If you're good at compartmentalizing in that way, I don't think that makes you a good human being. It might make you a successful human being. We tend to blur the line between success and decency. And that is not, they are not, I don't want to go into that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go into it.
Well, but I mean, if you're a hired gun, I mean, it's almost like we love a good fight, and for there not to be somebody on the other side as capable as the right person's side, we all kind of tend to go, well, that's not fair. I mean, I think it's like, somehow we think if we're going to put somebody to death, that death sentence needs to be done in a humane way, when that person may have taken out another person in the least humane way possible. That
right,
always
but that's vengeance. You're upset at that because of vengeance. That's
no, I'm not upset at that because of vengeance. I'm just saying, it seems to me, why do we care so much about, oh, the lethal injection may be a tad painful for a couple minutes, when this person may have tortured the person that they killed, which is why they're being put to death, for hours and hours and hours. We seem to get caught up as a society on, oh, well, we had to stop lethal injection because we couldn't tell whether the two drugs that we were putting together were taking them down in the proper amount of time. Instead of it being 2 minutes, it was now lasting for 7 or 8 or 10 minutes. I mean, at some point in time, do you really care?
Do you want to hear something that's even crazier along that with lethal injection? A lot of lethal injections were botched. The right amount wasn't given. It was so it wouldn't kill the person. It would just severely like screw them up. In those cases, do you know that the doctors had to revive the patient, get them healthy again, just to kill them a second time? How ridiculous is that? They would bring back to life botched executions because they weren't done properly, and then execute them again. That happened famously in the case of John Wayne Gacy. Took him 3 tries. Gacy wouldn't go. All right, here, let's move on. Rex Ryan is trending. You know why Rex Ryan is trending? Well, I'll show you. This will be a little lighter subject matter. Rex Ryan was on, what is this? Get Up, I guess, on ESPN this morning. Let's see what Rex Ryan said that got everybody on Twitter.
Is looking. Rex, what do you think?
Listen, I'm a toe expert. Let's just say this. There ain't nothing wrong with Aaron Rodgers. He threw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. Come on, stop. Stop it already.
Are you so you're suggesting you're not concerned?
No, I'm not concerned. He wants out of practice. That's all that's all
I'm not working, bro. Bro, I'm not working, bro. I cannot put my best foot forward with Rex acting like this, bro.
We're 4 minutes.
All right, so you're a former Buffalo Bills, or you're a Buffalo. Why is that funny that Rex Ryan has declared himself a toe expert?
Well, because isn't he outed himself as having a toe fetish?
Yes, his wife, the New York Post, years ago, got a hold of some pictures of Rex Ryan and his wife engaging in foot play. like a foot fetish. So Rex Ryan, and he owned it. He said, yeah, so what? I like feet. I like, that's his thing that he's into. And so he's talking about Aaron Rodgers and his toe issue. And he opens it up on Get Up this morning by saying, well, I'm a toe expert. Good for him. Man, own your weirdness. Good for Rex Ryan. And of course everybody lost.
Well, everybody on set knew it too.
Yeah, so Ryan Clark got up, walked away. Orlovsky buried his head. Even Greeny was laughing and laughing.
I mean, that had to be like, because that was probably back in their day when they were playing as players and Rex was coach.
Right.
And like probably everybody in the NFL, like that was just like too much for them to handle.
I love Rex Ryan. Yeah, I don't know what he is, a football coach, but he's a fun personality. That guy, he don't give a shit.
That's why he's there now. Like he's found a spot where he will stick.
He could be
stick with the Jets. He couldn't stick with the Bills.
He could be like Madden. He could, if they wanted to like move him into something like that, he would be fun doing games. But he's a studio guy. Apparently, that suits him better. Jeff Glenn says Walker, talking about Herschel Walker. Walker is president and chief executive officer of H. Walker Enterprises and Renaissance Man Food Services, a certified minority business enterprise. Yeah, I'm sure he got all the tax breaks for being a certified minority. And now he's railing against them. Renaissance Man Foods, a certified minority business enterprise that supplies poultry, pork, and bakery products to the food service and retail marketplace. But an Associated Press review of hundreds of pages of public records tied to Walker's business ventures and his divorce, including many not previously reported, sheds new light on the turbulent personal history that could dog his Senate bid. The document details accusations that Walker repeatedly threatened his wife's life. You're telling me he's violent?
She's from here in Dallas.
Is she?
Mm-hmm. Cindy Walker.
Let's see here. Business ventures, blah, blah, blah. Sheds new light on the turbulent personal history that could dog his Senate bid. The documents detail accusations that Walker repeatedly threatened his ex-wife's life, exaggerated claims of financial success, and alarmed business associates with unpredictable behavior. Yeah, he's nuts. He's always been kind of nuts. And don't think that he started a business from the ground up. He was Herschel Walker, and some dudes with money who had an idea for a business said, let's get him to front it and put his name on it as a minority. And they took all the tax breaks that come from having minority business, and now he's running against all of those things that allow. He's a name. Herschel Walker couldn't read until he was 20 years old. Don't tell me that he's some business genius. He's never cracked a book in his life.
Well, because you couldn't read until you were 20 years old, at year 21, shouldn't you then be off the hook? Like, you're not forever dumb.
It doesn't change the fact that you graduated from high school. You got by your entire life because of what you could do with a football in your hand. So your accomplishments are not quite as noble as maybe you'd like to present them. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if you walked out with a degree from Georgia and it was known that you couldn't read until you were 20.
Yeah, right. What is that?
It is a little bit questionable.
But also, man, I mean, we look at these things now more closely, but this was back in the early 80s. Come on, this is when everybody was juicing on roids and people were just being funneled through. They were football factories. They weren't institutions of higher learning. Mm-hmm. Speaking of institutions of higher learning, Kim Kardashian is trending today. Why is Kim Kardashian trending?
Because isn't like Kanye trying to get her back hard?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I think I saw something like that. Like during the Amazon show, apparently Kanye did something weird that was sort of like beggy, or whatever.
I thought like that was trending.
Kim Kardashian has passed the first part of the California bar. Kim Kardashian is on her way to becoming an attorney. Woo! Kim, my girl. Good for her.
I would think that takes some smarts.
It takes a lot of... Kim Kardashian is not what we want to think Kim Kardashian is. Trust me. Being a long-standing good friend of Kim Kardashian, I can tell you that if she's going to be she should be a lawyer for salsa, because like I always tell, she explained to me the difference between red and green salsa. Here, you know what I got? Look at this. Let me show this. I actually found this today. I don't think I've ever shown this before, but this is the moment that Kim Kardashian fell in love with me. This is the moment that Kim Kardashian actually decided that I knew what I was doing. Here, let's pull it up. All right, I'll show it to you. All right, you'll notice this is picture one, Kim Kardashian. Yep. Picture one of Kim. See her right there with her arms crossed. Okay.
I do.
She's hearing me out. I'm explaining to her something about life. We're connecting on life in general. She's got her arms crossed. She's like, okay, I'll listen to this guy. I'll listen to what he's saying. And then look at here. This is the moment. Are you ready for the moment?
Okay.
This is I know, right? Look at her totally agreeing with me. She's got her hands out. This is when we bonded. This is when Kim and I became lifelong friends. Haven't spoke to her in a few years, but seriously though, I love this picture. Look at her. Look at her. She's got her hands up. This is her. I know, right? Totally agreeing with me.
Commitment to passing the bar with her wealth is impressive.
Well, yes. And also, let's not undersell it. Her father was a very accomplished attorney, and her mom, Kris Jenner, is a very smart woman. I mean, look at the way her mom has sort of crafted the careers for these. We like to believe they're a bunch of talentless daughters. But, I don't know. Mom seems pretty damn bright, right? Mom, I mean, you can think of Kris Kardashian any way you want because of the way she's maybe exploited her family and all of that, but she figured out how to do it, and she has run the show as president of the whole Kardashian thing. And you cannot deny that has turned into something really big. Unlike Herschel Walker, who probably had a whole bunch of other people come in and build it for him, Kris Kardashian Jenner did this on her own. She saw a way to do it and she did it. And her dad was a very smart, very well-regarded attorney. So the genetics that go into, and I'm not talking about the other, but the genetics go into Kim, who is a billionaire in her own right. She's the first billionaire model. And I'm not even sure she's really she just takes pictures. She's not a dumb woman. She plays Kim in the show because that's her brand and she leaned into it. But all kidding
Is she
aside,
the one that's a billionaire? Or I thought it was her younger sisters.
No, I think she's a billionaire. Certainly now more than ever because of the Kanye money that she must have some sort of access to. Hold on, let's see.
I thought it was Kylie.
What is Kim Kardashian's net worth? 1.2 billion dollars. 2021.
Wow. All right.
Okay, who is the richest Kardashian? Let's see, that's another one. Kim Kardashian West. This one says 1.4 billion. What's 200 million? What's 200 million when you're Kylie Jenner is 620 million. Kris Jenner, the mom, is 190 million. Caitlyn Jenner, stepdad, 100 million. Kourtney Kardashian, 65 million. Khloe Kardashian, 50 million. Kendall Jenner. Kendall's the one I like. Kendall's the one that doesn't really want to be a part of any of this nonsense. She's only in it to the tune of 45 million.
And Rob Kardashian even got $1 million?
Rob's not even in there. No, they're not even mentioning Rob. Scott Disick gets mentioned. Kourtney's ex, he gets mentioned. He's tied with Kendall for 45 million. But I would have to say that aside from Kim, the 1.4, it is Kendall. Kendall is the one I like. I like that Kendall's like, I don't want to be a part of this nonsense. So she sort of stays in the background. She just does her modeling. 1.2 billion. While she's already a fashion mogul, mother of 4, and former star of the reality TV series Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kim Kardashian is one step closer to adding lawyer to her list of accomplishments. Kardashian has been studying rigorously for the bar exam in California for the past few years, and her journey was memorably chronicled on the reality TV series before it ended. Finally, on her 4th attempt, Kardashian got the results she wanted and officially announced via Twitter that she had passed what's known as the baby bar exam, which is the first step in California to getting a full. You have to do the way she's doing it as I read this is there are 2 steps. There are 2 separate tests that you have to take. But the first one, known as the baby bar, is supposed to be the difficult one that's designed to root out all the people who aren't going to make it on to the second round. So good for her. And she posted, "Oh my FGG, I passed the baby bar." Kardashian began her initial tweet sharing a series of photos from a recent shoot. 4 times. Took her 4 times. It took her 4 times. It takes most lawyers multiple tries to pass the bar. John F. Kennedy Jr. famously took 8 times to pass the bar exam. I mean, that's not like it is very, very, very common to fail it on your first time through. People who take the bar exam are, this is that's not a rare thing that, she 4 times. No. That's probably pretty average. Or actually, I don't know if it's average, but I do know that most people do not pass the bar exam on the first time through. So good for my girl, Kim. Look at her. She's on her way to becoming a lawyer. Telling you, man, she is not a fool. She is not. She plays the fool to all of our detriment because she's worth $1.4 billion playing the fool. We should all be that foolish. Okay, what else? Okay, Golden Globes. Let's end it with the Golden Globes. The Golden Globe nominees came out. These are always the precursor for the Oscars. You're not really as into this kind of stuff as I am. I watch a lot of TV. That's why I love the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes are the combination of movies and TV, whereas the Oscars are just movies and the Emmys are just TV. The Golden Globes are both movies and TV. And the Golden Globes are called the Golden Globes, of course, because they are international film critics. It is the International Film Critics Awards. They make the nominations and they choose the winner. Why is this a big deal? Because the Golden Globes are typically a precursor to the Oscars. Shows that win or movies that win the Golden Globe oftentimes certainly get nominated for the Oscars, but then they also sometimes win. All right, so best TV series of this year nominated in the Golden Globes, a show called Lupin, which I've never heard before. I don't know what that is. The Morning Show, which is an Apple TV show. That is Jennifer Aniston's new show. It started out, I watched the first season of The Morning Show, and it was interesting. It was supposed to parallel the story of Matt Lauer and how Matt Lauer got fired from, Me Too'd from The Morning Show.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Carell played the Matt Lauer character. Jennifer Aniston played I don't know, who's the Katie Couric. I don't know who's the person that was with Matt Lauer. I don't know, whatever.
Wasn't it Katie Couric?
Maybe. Yeah, but she's gone now, so I don't know. So Lupin, The Morning Show, Pose, Squid Game, and Succession. This is going to be year 2 in a row. Succession is going to win this. It's just the best show on TV. But Squid Game, I'd look out because this is, again, remember, this is an international group of film or TV critics and film critics. So.
Well, based just on the number of people that saw Squid Game, I would think it's going to win.
Yeah, no.
Didn't it shatter like the records?
Yes, but this isn't the People's Choice Awards. These are snooty critics, and critics look for more, substantive plot lines and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think Squid Game has a chance. Although you say it was wildly popular, and it's international. The international foreign press tends to lean into international shows. So who knows? But I think Succession's to lose. Best television series, musical or comedy. The Great. I don't know what that is. I've seen it, but I don't watch it. Reservation Dogs. I don't know what that is either. I've seen it. I think that's about Native Americans. Ted Lasso and Only Murders in the Building. I think the bloom is off the rose on Ted Lasso for the last 2 seasons. Ted Lasso is the 2-time defending champion in this category. It's won it the last 2 years in a row. I don't think they'll do it a 3rd year in a row. I think Hacks is one of the second best show of the year after Ted Lasso. But man, they love Steve Martin and Martin Short. I think the dark horse.
And Selena Gomez.
Yeah, I think Only Murders in the Building could be the dark horse choice. Best television, limited series, or motion picture made for TV. So this is like miniseries. Dope Sick. That's a Hulu show, which I love. Impeachment, American Crime Story. Made, Netflix. Mayor of Easttown. That's HBO. And The Underground Railroad. I don't know what that is. I'm going Dope Sick because I think Dope Sick is by far the best miniseries that I've seen.
Okay.
You know what? That's a good question. Maybe Ted Lasso only won. You know what, Adam? Adam is right. How could Ted Lasso win twice if it's only finished its 2nd season now? No, you're right, because it won the Golden Globe and then it won the Emmy for Best Show. And I remember thinking, oh, that's 2 in a row. So you're right, it did. It just swept both the Emmys and the Golden Globes in its 1st season. So I don't know. I just think that the bloom is off the rose on that show. I think it won everything at the Emmys, and that tends to, at some point, people are going to be like, okay, enough with the Ted Lasso. We get it. It looks stupid and it's really good. We get it. I like Dope Sick for best miniseries. That's the best performance by an actor in a television series drama. Brian Cox, Succession. as the Rupert Murdoch character, Logan Roy. He's great. Lee Jong-jae, Squid Game. He's our boy, the lead character from Squid Game. He's very good too. Billy Porter, Pose, Jeremy Strong, Succession, and Omar Sy for Lupin. The best actor on TV is Jeremy Strong in Succession. So just by the most mind-blowing performance, it's got to be Jeremy Strong as the drug-addicted heir apparent to the, Rupert Murdoch family fortune, which is essentially what Succession is about. But I don't know. He might cancel himself out with his dad. Brian Cox of Succession is also nominated, so that could be.
I'm Squid Games guy. I mean,
he was good.
He was good, but I don't know that he
was great acting. Right? He just looked scared all the time. He just looked confused and then scared for 10 episodes.
And it wasn't like that. He needed to change that much,
Best performance by an actress in a television series, Uzo Aduba for In Treatment, Jennifer Aniston, The Morning Show, Christine Baranski, The Good Fight, Elizabeth Moss for The Handmaid's Tale, and MJ Rodriguez for Pose. I don't know. I don't know any of these. I saw Jennifer Aniston, but I don't think she's so great. So that's a pick'em. Whoever you want, that's a pick'em. Best performance by an actor in a television series, musical, or comedy, Anthony Anderson, Blackish, Nicholas Hoult, The Great, Steve Martin, Only Murders in the Building, Martin Short, Only Murders in the Building, Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso. I think Jason Sudeikis is going to win this one again because I think Steve Martin and Martin Short will cancel each other out. The people that really want to award Only Murders in the Building, it's always bad when there's two people. So I'm going Sudeikis. Best performance by an actress in a television series, musical, or comedy, Hannah Einbinder for Hacks. Hannah Einbinder is Lorraine Newman's daughter. For those of you old enough to remember Lorraine Newman from Saturday Night Live, one of the original not ready for primetime players, she's really good. Hannah Einbinder in Hacks, Elle Fanning in The Great, Issa Rae in Insecure, Tracy Ellis Ross in Blackish, and Jean Smart in Hacks. It's got to be the national treasure, Jean Smart. Jean Smart is so good in Hacks, playing a Joan Rivers type at the end of her comedy career, working out in Vegas, and good show. If you haven't seen Hacks, HBO Max, so good, really funny. A little behind the scenes about Hollywood and comedy, but it's based on Joan Rivers. It was supposed to be Joan Rivers died. They were talking about doing something with Joan Rivers, but then she died and the family got all squirrely. So they just created this show, which is about a woman who was a comedian in the 60s and in the 70s. She's a groundbreaking female comedian. She hosted late night talk shows. All the things that Joan Rivers did, this character did on the show Hacks. And it's played by Jean Smart. And she's like now an older woman still trying to do concert dates and trying to stay relevant. Hacks. It's good. Best performance by an actor in a limited series or motion picture made for television. Paul Bettany for WandaVision. Oscar Isaac, Scenes from a Marriage. Michael Keaton, Dope Sick. Ewan McGregor, Halston. Tahir Rahim, The Serpent. Michael Keaton, Dope Sick. Mike, are you watching any of Dope Sick?
I have not started it yet. I think my wife has seen every one.
Michael Keaton's good as old small town Doc Feelgood, the guy that prescribes all of these terrible pain medications to these people and then feels bad about it. Best performance by an actor in a limited series motion.
You froze. Hello?